So now that we've talked about kind of how to track your weight and your calories, I want to talk about how to set up a weight loss program from those numbers that you calculated. With that baseline that you have, and with the caloric baseline and the guideline for what your weight has been doing, then you can make adjustments to your caloric intake to start kind of the weight loss program. So say you're at 3,000 calories was your average over the 2 weeks. For really any weight loss program, it's just slowly decreasing calories. You don't want to go and cut 2,000 calories right off the bat, because really that's not going to be healthy. You're not going to be able to adhere to it over a long period of time. That's what people forget. People do these drastic weight loss methods. Drastic weight loss methods, and then they stick to it for 2 weeks and then go off of it and binge and gain all the weight back. So that's really not what this is about. We're trying to do slow, steady decreases to get the results that we want, because that's going to be the healthiest and easiest to adhere to, really. Say you start off and your baseline was 3,000 calories. What you're going to do is just decrease your calories by 500 calories per day. And the reason for that is because theoretically a pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So if you're decreasing 500 calories a day over 7 weeks, that's 3,500 calories. Or not 7 weeks, 7 days, 3,500 calories. So that's technically or theoretically a pound of fat that you would be losing. So that's kind of where we're going to start the weight loss program. The basic guidelines for macronutrient intake when you're cutting is going to be a little higher than 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein. So say I am a 170 pound male, that would probably be anywhere between 175 to 185 grams of protein a day as your protein intake. And the reason why it's nice to have a range, I mean, it doesn't have to be a 10 gram window, but it really sets you up for kind of having a little bit of leeway, because when you say you need to stick to one specific number and it doesn't give you any freedom either on the downside or upside of that, it's really going to set you up for failure in the long term, especially with strict meal plans. It really sets you up for a pattern of just adherence and binging, and you're really not going to get anywhere in the long term when things are that strict and it doesn't give you any freedom. So if you're cutting, you're trying to lose weight, a little higher than 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein as your macronutrient intake. And then from there, what you want to calculate next is your fat calories, because you actually don't need carbs to survive. Your body can adapt through ketogenic adaptation, which I'm not going to get into right now, to burn fats. So what you want to set up next is fat, because that's the only other essential nutrient. You want to be anywhere between 15 to 25% of your total calories. So you had your baseline calories, which I said in the previous example was about 3,000. For me, that's just an example, 3,000. And then you want to take that down to 2,500, because we're going to decrease calories by 500 calories a day. So from that 2,500 calories, anywhere between 15 to 25% of those 2,500 calories is going to be your range for fats. So the one thing you need to take into account, those numbers that I already did were 375 calories is 625 calories of fat. But what does that really mean? So you want to convert that into a more usable unit, and the way you do that is just dividing those numbers by 9, because there's 9 calories per gram of fat. I'm not going to explain why, just accept that how it is. So what that gives you is about 41 to 70 grams of fat for your range to fall within. So, and like I said before, that really gives you a lot of freedom. And with this, I would always start at the higher end of the range and then slowly work your way down. Once you see your body stop losing weight over a weekly average, then you can start slowly decreasing your calories and go to the bottom end of that range. But the problem with doing an all-in-one calorie cut, you're going to the directly bottom of that kind of prescribed range, is your body isn't going to maintain strength, which is one of the main ways that you maintain your muscle mass over a period of a cut. And it's really not going to be, you're not going to be able to adhere to it for a long time, because that's a very drastic calorie cut, and we're trying to be healthy. We're trying to do this over a slow, steady period of time. So start at the higher end of that range and then slowly start working your way down once you see your weight isn't decreasing or plateaus. So that really leaves the remaining calories, like I said, to carbs. And for this sample calculation, this is for 170 pound person. You got to do it on your own if you're any different weight than this, because it needs to be very specific to you. And it is 299 grams of carbs to 361. So again, you want to start at that higher end at the beginning of your cut and stick with that for a couple weeks, and then once you see your weight plateau again, you just slowly start decreasing. Maybe go to the middle of the range for a couple weeks, and then once you see your weight plateau again, go down to the bottom of the range and then hang out there for a couple weeks until you see your weight plateau. So yeah, the remaining calories are really going to be from those carbs. So that's going to be your macronutrient outline for this. Hopefully that gives you some guidance. If this is very very like science and math heavy, I guess, so if you're not good at math, that's where it helps to have someone actually set these numbers up for you.